Hey, what the hell's going on with you? And the face? I like your earlobes. How are you? My name is Nick. Yes. Hey, Nick Digilio, thanks for checking out my YouTube channel. I put videos up almost daily. Well over 125 of them now, so if you haven't seen some of them, scroll down, man. They go back. I talk about a lot of fun shit and some cool stuff. Go back and catch up on some of these crazy vidges I've been making. Check me out on Patreon. Great way to help out. Donate. You pick a tier, you donate monthly. It helps me out. Helps me keep my videos going. You get some extra content, bonus content that nobody else gets if you become a patron. $3, $6, $25 a month. Just donate. It'll be great. Helps me out. And you get bonus content like behind the scenes of what really happened at WGN and the firing and all that other stuff. I've got a couple of videos that'll be coming up for that. But go to patreon.com/NickDShow. Donate today. Help out. Thank you. Patreon.com/NickDShow. My podcast is the Nick D Podcast on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. Go to radiomisfits.com. New episodes every Tuesday and Friday. Okay. I can do several videos about weird movies. About, movies that are just, what the hell, weird. I happen to like weird movies in general. I know that's a blanket statement and a big umbrella for which to put lots of titles of movies under. But I like weirdo movies. I think weirdo movies are cool. One of the videos that I did a little while ago, again, if you're checking out my YouTube channel, scroll down, I did weirdo celebrities. I talked about my love for certain weirdo celebrities. A lot of weirdos in the celebrity world, and I talk about some of my favorites. And I like weirdo movies. Well, the Music Box Theater, which shows a lot of weirdo movies from time to time. And again, as I've mentioned before, one of the greatest gifts to the world of cinema is the fantastic Music Box Theater right here in Chicago on Southport, between Irving and Addison, right near Wrigley Field. It is God's gift to cinema for Chicagoans. One beautiful big theater, a small sort of screening room. It's run by people who know what they're doing, by people who care about the movies, by people who like to program interesting, varying types of movies from years past to new releases to foreign films to animated stuff. The Chicago Critics Film Festival is happening there for a full week in May, where they let the Chicago critics take over the theater for a full week, program movies, brand new movies and older movies, anniversary screenings and things like that. So the Music Box is great. Check out musicboxtheater.com, and they show first-run films and so much more. Well, they show a lot of weird movies at the Music Box because they take a lot of cool risks and chances, and they like to do diverse stuff and diversify and play some strange and out there movies, unusual films that you can't see anywhere else. So they have a tendency to show weird ass movies there. And so they're currently showing a couple of weird ass movies at the Music Box. Now, I've seen a lot of weird ass movies at the Music Box over the years. And I'm talking decades and years and years and years of going to the Music Box. But they've got a couple of beauts playing there. I mean, if you want to see a couple of weird ass fucking movies, check out what's playing at the Music Box in this week and into next week, which would be early May of 2022. And I love weird movies. I remember going to see Videodrome, which is David Cronenberg. He's got another weird ass movie coming out in June called Future Crimes. And I'm very excited about it. Or Crimes of the Future. And it's Viggo Mortensen and Kristen Stewart, and I can't wait. And I've seen the trailer and read about it. It's been showing at film festivals. People are vomiting during screenings of it, or there have been walkouts, people like almost fainting. It's Cronenberg going back to being Cronenberg. He never wasn't Cronenberg, but this is like full-on like body horror, weird shit, inside the body, gooey, crazy. What the fuck is that? What are you doing to that human being and their body? David Cronenberg. And apparently it's like it's as body horror like as any Cronenberg movie has ever been. And I remember going to see Videodrome, which would definitely fit on a list of weird ass movies. I remember going to see it with my buddy Bob. We had just got high school, and we were senior years. I remember going to see it because Cronenberg, one of my favorites, and as a horror film fan, going back to the early stuff that he did in the 70s all the way up through what he does now. But back when he was doing stuff like Shivers and The Brood and Scanners and all that, the early sort of crazy body horror, low-budget David Cronenberg, out came this crazy James Woods and Debbie Harry movie called Videodrome. And if you haven't seen it, it's a very prescient movie. It was way ahead of its time. Way ahead of its time. Even now, if you watch it, you go, fuck, this stuff is happening now. I'm not going to go into what Videodrome is entirely about, but it's a movie that if you watch it now, it came out in 1983, was shot in 1982, and it was about video and underground sort of like cable network, whatever. Very hard to describe, but if you watch that movie now, you go, yeah, that makes a lot of sense now, as much now as it did, or even more now than it did back in 1983. But I remember seeing that movie, and it's a weird-ass movie, which is what I'm talking about here. I remember seeing that movie with my buddy Bob Hansford, and we went to see it, and I loved it. And it ends in a very weird sort of blackout moment. Death to Videodrome, long live the new flesh. Anyway, you'll understand if you've seen the movie. But my friend Bob was not into that kind of shit. And when it was over, he's like, I am going to kick your ass for making me sit through this fucking movie. Because I was like, hey man, you got to come. It's going to be awesome. Come on with me. See Videodrome. It's going to be great. And he didn't like weirdo movies. Couldn't give two shits about David Cronenberg or any of that kind of stuff. So I dragged him to see this movie, and he literally was going to kick my ass when it was over. And that's kind of the response that normal people have to some of these weird-ass movies. And the Bob Hansford response to Videodrome, which is, I'm going to kick your fucking ass for making me sit through this movie, is the response that a lot of people that you make go see the two movies I'm going to talk about, that's going to be your response. For instance, if you drag somebody to see Inland Empire, which will be playing at the Music Box in the second week of May, Inland Empire is the last full-length film that David Lynch has made. He has since, went back. He's done a lot of shorts and a lot of videos and a lot of weird stuff. Well, that goes without saying. And he went back and he did a full season of 18 episodes, so 18 hours of Twin Peaks The Return, which was magnificent. One of the greatest things that's ever been on television ever. But his is his last full feature, and it was shot real low budget on digital, really sort of grainy, old school 2005 digital equipment, like little digital equipment. So it doesn't have that sort of lush look. He worked with great cinematographers in the past, like Peter Deming, and his movies, they look beautiful when shot on film. And it looks beautiful, but in an entirely different kind of way. But Inland Empire is David Lynch's movie from 2006. It has been restored, and it has been remastered in 4K. So to take a movie that was shot on these little grimy little digital cameras, the process of restoring it and remastering it took months. Like Lynch was in the studios and he was, going through it. It had to be sifted through a different format and changed through this and then recalculated and blah, blah, blah. In order to make the restoration, he had to change the way it would have been, it had to be projected. So it looks quite different than it did when it was released digitally in 2006. Transferred to film in 2006. So it was, it looks insane. It looks beautiful, the restoration. If you think that this movie looks beautiful, and I do, but a lot of people would think it looks grimy and dull, and but that's part of what the vision of the movie is about. But anyway, so there's a 4K restoration, beautiful, that's going to be playing at the Music Box. Inland Empire is I'm not even going to attempt to describe what it tries to be about. On the simplest of terms, Laura Dern plays an actress whose big break, she gets cast in this movie. It's directed by, the director is played by Jeremy Irons. She gets cast in this movie. Her co-star in it is, what the fuck is his name? Justin Theroux. Harry Dean Stanton plays the director's assistant. So that would be Jeremy Irons' assistant. It's about her getting this part and then the making of this film. But the film is cursed. It was a Polish production, this film, and it was cursed And it's a remake. This movie that they're making is a remake of this movie that never got finished because there was mystery and murder involved. And this curse of this film and this Polish subplot all mix in to make the filming of this new movie that she's in nearly impossible. And she's thrown into this sort of dreamlike state where she becomes like multiple different personalities. And I'm not even going to attempt to try to explain because I don't understand a lot of it, but I don't care because it's like this incredible movie. Like a lot of David Lynch's stuff might not make sense on a linear level, and it doesn't. It makes no fucking sense. If you watch Inland Empire and go, yes, let's go from plot point A to plot point B to plot point C, you're not going to get that. You're going to go from plot point A to subplot point Z to mechanism D, that blah, 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 blah. It's David Lynch. You're not going to make any kind of linear sense of it. I don't give a fuck how much you analyze it. No. So populating the movie is also Grace Zabriskie, who was in Twin Peaks. You've got Peter Lucas is in this movie. Harry Dean Stanton, as I mentioned. Diane Ladd, Laura Dern's mother, is in it. William H. Macy has this one scene in it. Julia Ormond is in it. Mary Steenburgen has a cameo in it. Terry Crews, before Terry Crews was ever cast in any TV shows, is in this as a homeless guy who, along with his mate, played by Nei Yuki, who is a great Japanese actress who was in Letters from Iwo Jima and Twin Peaks: The Return. She has an incredible monologue in it as a homeless person. And at the center of this whole thing is Laura Dern. It's a crazy mystery. You try to figure out what's going to happen. It takes place in different people's from different people's perspectives. A third of it is in Polish with subtitles. There is a weird otherworldly sitcom in this movie that's cast entirely in people in rabbit costumes. So there's a sitcom that's inhabited by rabbit characters in it with a false laugh track, and ultimately it's about making movies. It's about movies themselves. That's what the movie is about. It opens with the image of a projector like popping up. And the experience of and analyzing the world of film is what a lot of David Lynch's movies are about. He loves cinema. He loves the experience of making movies, the experience of seeing movies, the experience of projecting them, and all encompassing the world of film, what it's about, how you consume it, how you make it. And that's what Inland Empire is about. It's about all of that. It's about film. It's one of the greatest movies ever made about film. All-encompassing film. Making it, watching it, restoring it, interpreting it. That's what the movie's about. And it doesn't work on any linear level. You just sit there and you let it happen. Like a lot of David Lynch movies happen, just sit there, let it roll over you, and let the weirdness just smother you with love and insanity. So it is as weird a movie as you'll ever see. It's 3 hours long. And again, if you're not up for that, if you're not up for a movie that makes literally no sense literally, if you're not up for a real weird experience that looks grainy and scary and weird because it's shot on these small little digital cameras that have now been weirdly restored to 4K with incredible sound and all kinds of shit, if you're not up for an experience that's going to like really fuck with you, that's going to make you uncomfortable for 3 hours, then you probably shouldn't see this movie. I, however, think it's a masterpiece. I, however, think it's one of Lynch's, at its core, the most Lynchian movie that he's made since Eraserhead. And at the center of this movie is an extraordinary performance by Laura Dern. Laura Dern, who is one of the gifts of God, if you want to believe that kind of stuff, to the world of cinema. She is one of the greatest actresses on the planet, consistently does amazing work, and she can hop from commercial movies to weird movies to foreign films to lead roles to supporting roles to cameos. I mean, look, she can star. She's going to be in one of them stupid fucking Jurassic Park movies because she was in the first one. She can do shit like that and then come back and do stuff like Marriage Story, for which she won the Academy Award. She can do comedy. She can do drama. She is amazing on Enlightened, that TV show from a few years ago that Mike White did for HBO. Laura Dern is one of the greatest, most interesting, bravest actresses on the planet, and there is no more example of that than her performance in Inland Empire. It's a startlingly shocking, amazing performance that is engrossing to watch, that is exhausting in its energy. What she does mentally, what she does physically, what she does just in terms of energy in this movie, just like the facial work that she does, like with her face and she contorts it. She's got a beautiful, wonderful, expressive face and mouth that she can contort into wonderful, weird David Lynchian things. That's one of the things that David Lynch loves Laura Dern's face, as any human being should. You should just love Laura Dern, who's got an amazing face. And he concentrates a lot on that. There's a lot of wonderful shots of Laura Dern in this movie, in different states, in different degrees of beauty and sort of ugliness, if you're going to go that route. And Laura Dern's performance is astonishing. It's one of the best performances by an actress ever. It is truly an actress who is taking enormous risks, doing brave, fucking crazy work, and also bringing an emotion to it and a core of beauty to it, where you get sucked in emotionally. Like, you really love this woman, you care about her, and as weird as she gets, as ugly as she gets, and as nuts as she gets in the movie, there's never not a moment when you're not connected to this character and you love her. And she has multiple different personalities from different perspectives in the movie, but it's as crazy as Inland Empire gets, and it is as fucking crazy as any movie you will ever. I can't emphasize this enough. It is a completely fucking insane, non-linear, this makes no goddamn sense to your mind movie that you will ever see, and it's 3 hours long. Just know that going in. But holding it all together is an extraordinary performance by Laura Dern. One of the best performances I've ever seen. So, it's a movie about movies, it's a movie about cinema and film, and it's anchored by one of the best performances that any actress has ever given. But it's a weirdo movie. It is a weird-ass movie. So that's movie number one. The second movie is playing at the Music Box right now, and I saw it over the weekend, and it's called Hatching. It is a Finnish film. It is directed by Hanna Bergholm, and it is entirely in Finnish with English subtitles. And it is a fucking weird movie. Okay? Not quite as insane as Inland Empire, because it is about half the length. First of all, it's less than half the length of Inland Empire. Doesn't quite get into the experimental insanity of the crazy storylines and jumps that Inland Empire does, but it's fucking weird. It's called Hatching. And as the movie opens, it's about this picture-perfect family, mother, father, son, daughter. And the mother is sort of obsessed with social media and filming stuff that she puts on the internet to show her perfect family. And then that's what she calls these videos. It's like, hi, here is the perfect family. You've got the beautiful son and the beautiful father and the lovely daughter and the mother, and they live in this beautiful house. And she is recording all of this stuff and documenting this and sending out these documentary videos online for people to admire. Everything has to be perfect. The house has to be perfect. The son has to look exactly like the father. The father has to be very happy. And all of this image of this perfect family. And the daughter has to be this perfect, beautiful young daughter who loves her mother, who is beautiful looking, hair in the right place. Everything has to be perfect. She's also an extraordinary gymnast who is in this competition to win the competition, and the mother is so proud of her. So here is this perfect, beautiful, lovely little daughter, 13-year-old daughter, who is this perfect gymnast. You have the smart, young little, glasses-wearing son, and the very, successful and handsome husband with the glasses, and this beautiful mom who is the great housewife, the great cook, who has a great house, and documenting all of this perfect family. Only underneath, it's all fucked up. So at the beginning of the movie, they're filming the latest video. The mother is filming, and the mother's the one who wants to keep this beautiful image of this family going and make sure that everybody on social media knows how perfect her family is, how perfect her daughter is, and the upcoming the gymnastics competition that her daughter is going to win. As they're filming this, suddenly a bird hits the window of their house. and they think it dies. There's blood on the window. They open the window. A bird flies in, a big crow. Flies in, knocks over a chandelier, breaks a bunch of stuff, makes everything unperfect. This perfect video that this housewife has just taken has been now fucked up, shattered. The whole room is messed up. This black bird comes in, fucks up the house, knocks down a chandelier, breaks a bunch of furniture, stains, like shits every, clothes, or people like blood on their clothes. All of this perfection that this video that this woman was trying to, share on social media has now been ruined by this bird. So they capture the bird, and the mother takes it, kills the bird, snaps the bird's neck right in front of her daughter, tells her daughter, her 13-year-old gymnast daughter, go out and throw this in the trash, in the recyclable trash. So she takes this dead bird with a broken neck and she throws it into the compost heap, which is filled with maggots and other crap. And she closes the thing. Then this little girl who is being pressured by her mother to be perfect, who is in this gymnastics competition, one night hears some screaming, and she goes outside, and the bird is there. She brings the bird in the house. Broken neck. It's like still, she tries to kill it. She smashes it with a rock and tries to kill it. And then suddenly it turns into an egg. And this egg becomes bigger and bigger and bigger as worse things start happen. And in the family, as the little girl starts to uncover the fact that her family's not perfect, that in fact it's pretty fucked up. The father is like this simpering idiot. The son is a jealous little punk who is like a carbon copy of the father. And the mother is having an affair with this carpenter guy that she's openly having an affair with, telling her daughter about it. And the daughter is being pressured to be perfect, pressured over and over and over again to do the best she can at this gymnastics meet. And the daughter meets a girl who lives next door, who is also a gymnast, who is her competition, who has a dog. And then it's ultimately about the pressure that this mother is putting on this daughter, this 13-year-old daughter, to be perfect, to look perfect, to not eat, to not gain weight, to win this gymnastics competition, to be like her, to be perfection. So all this perfection that this mother wants, even though she's fucking another guy, the husband is an idiot, the son is an asshole, the house is kind of fucked up, even though her life in the real world is all messed up, having an affair, all that stuff, she is projecting this perfection onto this daughter. And as a result, this big egg hatches into this ugly, weird, slimy, bird-like monster creature that represents what this little girl is going through. And ultimately, the movie's about puberty. Ultimately, it's this Pixar movie that came out earlier this year called Turning Red. Be a great double feature, except leave the fucking kids at home for hatching. So the movie gets weirder and weirder and weirder, and this character starts to transform. This monster, this creature starts to transform, starts to kill people at the behest of this 13-year-old girl. And the girl, it's ultimately about this girl coming of age. It's ultimately about a girl not only coming to age with her body, going through puberty, and all the changes that happen when you're a 13-year-old girl, especially when all that stuff has been put on hold because you've been pounded and pounded and pounded in the world of gymnastics. And we've heard about a lot of the things that happen to young girls and their bodies and the natural progression, into puberty that gets delayed and sometimes completely altered by being in the world of gymnastics. So that happens to this girl. And on top of that, she's is aware of the affair that her mother is happening and dives headfirst into that. And there is this ugly, crazy creature that starts to transform into what might be her body double. And in other words, it's what's happening to her in her body, and it is manifested itself in this creature, and that's what it's about. It is puberty manifested itself as a monster. And it is a young girl dealing with what's happening to her body and dealing with the realization that her family is fucked, her mother's an asshole, her father's adult, and her brother's a jagoff. So it's what everybody goes through when you're 13, 14 years old, especially if you're a girl, especially if you have to go through all that, plus being pressured by gymnastics and all that stuff. You realize what's going on with your body is very strange, and you don't know what to do about that. And then you suddenly realize that it's 13 or 14 years old, like many of us do, that our family's fucked. That we have assholes for family members, that our parents are jagoffs, and that our brother is an idiot, and that our house life is not as perfect as it seems. And it's as ugly as possible, and that's what this creature represents. The main character in this movie, the girl, is played by Siri Solalina. And again, this is her first movie. Like the girl from Anna Cobb from We're All Going to the World's Fair from a couple of weeks ago. This is her first movie as well, and these two young performers are fucking amazing. Anna Cobb in World's Fair is unbelievable. One of my favorite performances of the year. An extraordinary performance, and she's already getting booked in movies. Now, this is another woman. This young girl she's from Finland, and her name is Siri Solina. And she, trust me, look her up. She's going to be a big star. If she doesn't make it in movies, God forbid, in America, she will, in her native Finland, she will definitely be cast in a bunch of movies. She's the core of this movie. A young girl. She was 12 when they made this movie. And the stuff that she's asked to do, not only in terms of acting as a young girl, going through puberty and going through changes and the pressure of family, but also there are incredible gore, gooey horror elements in this movie where she has to, she plays a dual role in it and does incredible stuff with her body and weird creature-like stuff. She's got to play like a monster at times, and she does it amazingly. She's scary. The stuff she does with her body in terms of transforming it into sort of a hideous creature, the body work, the voice work that she does, the tone between sadness and being a perfect little girl, and then all the horror elements with the gore and the bloody makeup effects and the creature effects. There's great, incredible makeup effects in this movie that are unbelievable, that are throwback to sort of the Rob Bottin practical FX that you love so much. And it's gory and gooey and bloody and fucked up and weird. It is as weird a movie as you'll ever see. The audience that I saw it with Friday night fucking hated it. They hated it. And it is as gory and bloody and gooey as you can possibly imagine. Everything that you think a movie would be about a 12, 13-year-old girl going through what you go through when you were a 12 or 13-year-old girl. It's all done in its bloody, gooey glory. And as an examination of a perfect family that is not fucking perfect, that there's really a lot of shit going on underneath, which is kind of what David Lynch's movies are about too. This perfection of the American family, or the American dream, and underneath, bunch of worms, bunch of maggots, bunch of ugly shit. Hatching would be a good double feature with Inland Empire if you got, 4 hours to kill. So Hatching is at the Music Box now. Young girl, creature, bird-like, bloody, slimy, murdering creature, lots of blood, lots of goo, lots of gore, lots of allegory about, blood and puberty, and their perfect family being a fucking nightmare. But it's weird. So, weird is the key word. Hatching, great Finnish horror film, body-like horror movie, gooey, bloody, awesome. And Inland Empire, weird. So, weird-ass movies. I will talk more about weird-ass movies on these videos because there's a ton of them, and many of them I love. So, I think I'll cut another video a little bit talking about some of my favorite weird-ass movies from the past. But currently, Hatching, Inland Empire at the Music Box Theater. If you want to see some weird shit, head over there now.